Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, distinguished audience, viewers joining us across Nigeria and all over the world. You are welcome to another powerful session of Connect with Comfort Show, the platform where ideas come alive, businesses are refined, and leaders are empowered. I'm your regular host for the Connect with Comfort show. My name remains Comfort Eyitayo, and it's always a pleasure to connect with growth minded professionals, entrepreneurs, and leaders who are eager to clip to their results just as you are. On this program, we aim to add value to people on enterprise and personal growth. Each show is organized to feature special guests who usually help us to shed more insights into the topic of the day. Once again, you are most welcome. Today, as a form of introduction on the topic, we are diving into a topic that can literally change the trajectory of your business, and that is partnership that pay, strategic alliances that multiply revenue. Let me ask you a quick question. What if your next level of income is not working harder, but in working together with somebody that is of the same mind strength and growth mindset? Because in today's fast paced and competitive environment, no one wins alone. The most successful businesses are not just building products, they are building powerful partnerships. So today, we'll explore how to identify right partnership, how to structure alliances that actually generate revenue, and how to avoid costly collaboration mistakes. And to guide us through this conversation, we have our exceptional guest in the house who is already with us. And in a short while, we shall be meeting with her after this time out. Please remain connected. We'll be right back. Thank you. You are most welcome. Sorry. You are most welcome, and thanks for uh, remaining connected. It's time for us to meet our guest, our special guest for today's show. Is no other than Rhoda Odigo. Rhoda is a teacher by training and a system leader by practice, shaping the future of whole child education across Africa and global south. She is the CEO of Kizazi, where she leads large-scale public education partnership spanning foundational, primary, and secondary education, integrating learning quality, social and emotional development, and community rooted school transformation. She's also the founder of the Learning Craft, a curriculum and teacher development platform working with schools and governments, and the convener of the Pan Africa Convening on Social and Emotional Learning, PACSEL, a continental space aligning policymakers and practitioners around human development and well-being. With nearly 2 decades of experience across classrooms, government reform, and global innovation, Rhoda is a leading voice in centering education around human flourishing, adolescent development, and future readiness in AI-driven world. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to welcome warmly someone who understands the power of collaboration, and not just in theory, but in practice. Please join me in warmly welcoming our guest for today, Rhoda Odigo. Rhoda, you are most welcome, and we thank you for joining us today, availing us of your precious time to share great insights with our guests and audience for today's show.
Thank you so very much, Ambassador Dr. Comfort Itayo. It is my pleasure, honestly, to be here on a topic that is quite dear to my heart. In fact, all my career has been about partnerships. So I'm very excited to be here with you.
Fantastic. So we are in for a good show. So without much ado, let's just dive into it by making our audience to understand what strategic partnership really means. So let's start simple. What exactly is a strategic alliance and how is it different from a normal collaboration?
Wow. Okay, so I will speak from just a lot of my experience and my learnings over the years. And I would say that a strategic alliance is not really about people liking each other, or whether they are agreeing to work together. That's not what an alliance, let alone a strategic one, is, from my perspective. I think I'd like to use the word structured, or the phrase structured relationship. So for me, a strategic alliance is a structured relationship where each party, each member of this relationship brings something really important to the table. And then when they bring something important to the table, both know what the importance of what they're bringing is to the table. And together they achieve something that would have been ordinarily harder if they did it alone, slower if they did it alone, or even more expensive if they did it alone. So, and that's what I would say a strategic alliance is. It's really about that structured relationship of value that people bring and share because they're trying to achieve something together. So versus a normal collaboration. And I like the way you've put it in terms of describing the collaboration as a normal one, because a normal collaboration, it can be informal. You can say, okay, I want to collaborate with someone, for an event, or you want to collaborate with someone to co-host in our world in education a training, a conference, or you want to collaborate with someone as they do these days, you're influencing, you're collaborating to influence on a product. You want to sort of, grow a visibility. That's what a normal collaboration can look like. But when a normal collaboration shifts from that to becoming a strategic alliance, two or three people in this party or even more are agreeing that, oh, we want to do something for this purpose. So a strategic alliance will go deeper. It will ask deeper questions. They will say, okay, what are we building? What do we bring to the table? What are you bringing? What am I bringing? It's very clear. What is the outcome? What do we want to achieve? Okay, how does value come back to each of us? Each of us in this alignment or alliance. So, for example, a quick example with the work I do at Kizazi. For us, our partnership is really not about visibility. So when we partner with governments, we recently partnered with a Southeast government. What is this strategic alliance? For us, Akizas, we're bringing program design, bringing training, we're bringing structured pedagogy, right? We're bringing quality assurance thinking. Now, what is the government bringing? Government is bringing system ownership. They're bringing access to the schools, right? And so for us, it's not a collaboration, it's an alliance because each party's role is designed in a very clear way to strengthen a whole system. Sometimes I tend to look at collaboration, when it's normal, when it's not strategic, as activity, right? We can come together and just do an activity, but strategic alliance is like building a system. It's like building a structure, like where an architect is trying to come up with a building. And so that's the way I would describe a strategic alliance.
Fantastic. That is well said and beautifully put. And that leads me to the next question. With that in mind, because one key thing that I want our audience to uh, click to in the explanation you have given us, making it making us realize that it's structured relationship where both parties bring value. That is key. Don't just say I want to collaborate and with the intention of gaining from the other party alone. You also must be able to give something. There must be value that the other party is receiving from you, and that is where the strategic part comes in. Very beautifully put. Thank you very much for that good response. So why do many people with all that we have said in mind still struggle to form profitable partnership? Because it's
Hmm.
beautifully painted. Why do people still struggle?
Hmm. I think people struggle. This question is very personal too to me because it has, some of us have also made mistakes in the past, where we have not necessarily seen, a relationship, from a structured perspective. So I would use even just my personal example. I think many business struggle because, they enter these partnerships emotionally, right? They're thinking of it from an emotional, why don't you do this for me? You know me, I know you, type of situation. So you may struggle because you have entered into it emotionally and you're not thinking about the structure. For example, you can like a person, or you can like an organization, or you can even like an opportunity, or you can like an access. But in this case, you have not clearly define that value exchange. Like you said, what do you bring and what do I bring? You have not clearly defined it. You're still using emotions. Oh, I like. It looks nice. It's. I have seen partnerships fail when people cannot answer basic questions like, okay, who is bringing this client? Who is doing the work? Who owns holding the relationship together? Who is
What
carrying
is
with
our
the
goal?
cost? Exactly. What is our goal? Who is going to bear these costs? Okay, how will revenue be shared? These kinds of questions is where when you don't answer them, that means you're not going in structurally, and hence you struggle in any partnership that you're trying to form. Because even in my own work, I have learned that goodwill is not enough. It's not enough that, oh, you've done this work well, someone has said something, goodwill. Yes, you have that, but it's not enough. And so if you want to leverage on only goodwill all the time, and there is nothing else plus on that. I'm not saying that goodwill doesn't take you far; it will take you far, but how well will it take you is the difference. So, for example, when we structure our education partnerships, whether it's with a government or whether it's an international development funder or whether it's with maybe schools or even technical partners, because we do have different kinds of partnerships. What we always want to do is that we are clear about the roles. So if Kizazi, for example, is designing the system and is supporting implementation, we're very clear that okay, this is what Kizazi is going to do, right? And that must be clear. And if another partner is coming and that person partner is providing maybe like the technical tools, maybe the app or maybe something, or they're the ones okay going to go into the field, to go to the community at the grassroots level to do something, that must also be clear. And then if, for example, because we work a lot with government, if the government is expected to carry certain costs, please don't assume that the government will carry that cost. No, it must be clear. It must not be assumed. So for me, a lot of, just from my example and from my failures too, a lot of partnerships don't fail because people are bad. They don't fail because you're bad or no, it's not a person, just a trait, like a personality trait thing. They fail because the structure was actually weak. And that's where I would say that businesses struggle because they will enter it emotionally, not structurally.
Strategic planning is
Yes.
also important. Thank you very much. So, with that mindset, what shift would be required to truly benefit from partnership? And
That's
before,
a good one.
sorry, before you take that, can we
Mm.
say trust is part of the reason why some people struggle? In Africa, it's difficult. Well, let me just Africa, but I think it's all over the world to really have the 100% trust in the other person or organization that you are partnering with, in terms of them being able to hold, even with all the defining the structure, them being able to hold to their own side of the bargain. Can that be part of a reason that we can adduce to the struggle?
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Sometimes, many times, trust is a currency. It's just, because usually for you to build trust, you have spent, for someone to trust you, usually there's a lot that has happened,
Yes.
consistently, not just in a fragmented way. They've
Consolidated,
seen you
yes.
do, yes, there's a consolidated, consistent pattern of behavior, of
Behavior.
production, of delivery from you that enables that trust to be built. So when we get to trust as trust, usually, yes, trust is a function because because you have done something so much, so well over time, so consistently, and trust can be that layer. I agree.
Thank you. So we can now take the question: what mind shifts that do we have to for business? I mean, to truly benefit from partnership, knowing that these are the reasons why we struggle. So, what do we need to do, moving away from the cause of the struggle, so to say?
I like this one. I like this question because that mindset, a lot of things we
Yes,
often say that, oh, that what when you want to, for those of us who do work in transformation, work that over time, people need to, like in education, it's hard to see the outcomes immediately. Usually, the outcomes of what we do in education is usually long term. So usually because of that, and it needs a certain level of resilience, a certain level of, persistence. How would I say it again? Tolerance, and then, long suffering, so to speak. So for those of us who do that kind of work, sometimes the output is before you see go from output to outcome, it can be a journey. So we often say that there are three sets of skills you have, or three sets of things you need. You need your mindset, you need your skill set, and you need your tool set. But the biggest of them, or the chief of them all, is what you have in this question, that which is what sort of mindset shift. And for me, one thing I learned when I learned a lesson, a very hard lesson, was moving from who can help me is to what value can we create together, meaning that I wish must always go from being dependent on who wants to help me, who is going to help me, who's going to creating in my mind what value am I offering here. That is the first and the what I consider to be the biggest mindset shift that partnership business owners need to start from. They need to start from because many people actually will approach partnerships from that place, a place of need, and it's not wrong. because many times you need the funding, you need the feasibility, you need the access. But you see, no problem with having those needs. Yes, you should have them. But strong partnerships will begin when you yourself, you are clear that I bring something here. And so you have to go, okay, I need help, but what value am I offering? So your strong partnerships will begin when you're clear about that value you are bringing. So, for example, because of the work we also do, I don't approach schools or our partners as if we're begging for attention. No, 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 no. I approach it and bring a structured program to you and say, hey, here is the deliverables. Here is the timeline that we use to deliver it. These are the resources, these are the tools that we have. These are the ways we intend to create these shifts, this and that. And then I'll demonstrate an example. That gives partnership weight. So, but you can only do that if you sit in your head, in your mindset, and say, hey, it's not about who is this person. I know this person is going to help me. It's going to help. This organization is going to help me. This business is going to help me. We're going to help open a partnership together. Okay. But here's what I bring to the table. That is it. And it applies everywhere. So we must keep saying, looking at our businesses or partnerships from that lens. What value can I create? Do I bring? And what value can I create together? That's the mindset shift that we need to start with so that we can benefit from a partnership. Because you're going to someone. Does the person need you? Is the first question. So if you don't, you have to answer that question and you have to answer it from a very honest.
Fantastic. Very, very correct. And I like the bit of the mindset, the three prongs like mindset, skill set, and tool set. That's also important because you have to create that confidence in the
Yes.
other person. It's not enough to just say, yeah, I'm going to add value. It must be demonstrated in a way that you see that confidence that the person will see you or take you as being believable, even without actually delivering. Because that is the first thing. And the clear goal, clear vision is very important. And there's one beautiful contribution from Dr. Asen, who is one of our regular audience from Abuja. It says partnership or partners must be complementary, not competing
Yeah.
skills to reinforce their synergy and create enduring relationship.
Yeah.
That is beautifully
I
put.
agree.
Very, very
I
correct.
agree.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aseng. Because we have to that's what they call partners in progress. Is
That's right.
one is not going to be on the lame dog, and the other one is the one that is working like a jackie, so to say.
Exactly.
So you all have to be pulling your weight equally to make sure that the relationship succeed. Very nice contribution. Thank you, Dr. Aseng. Okay, so with that, we've created enough platform to make us understand what strategic partnership means. Let's try to identify the right partners because that is another
Hmm.
cross that some people find difficult to carry. So, how can business owners identify the right partners for growth, having understood what the strategic partnership means?
I think Dr. is saying answered the question from his comment. Is this complementarity versus competition, is very helpful in thinking about, how in reflecting on, how business owners can identify right partners. And I like the way he puts it. And it has been my experience, to be honest. Um, because one thing is you need to identify or let me say that differently, to identify a right partner, you have to look at it. Does this partner complete my model? Because sometimes our business models are incomplete. And
Yes.
it is not all the time that we have everything it takes to take it to completion.
The missing
So,
gap.
yes, there's a missing gap. So that means you need that partner to
Complementary.
complete your yes. That partner becomes a complementary partnership, and it not seem like he said, not something that looks like you, that resembles exactly you, because that starts to look like you are competing. And in fact, it can blur the lines. It can make the lines become blurry. Who owns what? Who is doing what? And that's not very good for clarity in business. So for me, what I've often learned and I've started and done and has led me to progress is that I always bring these three filters, and I use it all the time. First of all, my first filter is, in simple words, do they bring what I don't have? I have to answer it yes, tick it. This partner brings what I don't have. Tick. Then my second question is, do they operate at my standard? My standard. There are some standards, there are some partnerships that destroy you, because when they
Yeah.
come into the
They
partnership,
pull you
they are
down.
below. Yes, they are below your level. Is it that they are, if, for example, your ways of working in your organization, in your business, you've learned to build operational excellence. You keep to timelines, you deliver, and when you don't keep, you speak up. You have preventative measures, so that you speak up before that you are not able to, and then you have a partner who cannot deliver on that. So I have to ask that question: do they operate at my standard? If they don't, what do I need to do to bring to them to operate on my standard? But the first filter is, do they operate on that standard? If it is a yes, tick it. I already know they're a right partner. If it's a maybe, then if I desperately need what they need, and what they are bringing as a value, and I cannot replace it, then what would I do? I will start looking at how to fill that gap, since I already have it. Or if I don't have it, then that's not the right partner. That is rather going to kill your business, kill your model, rather than make you grow. Then on my last filter, usually just the first thing is, do they benefit? Are they benefiting? Because you have to think of it this way: if they don't benefit, it's also detrimental to you.
Yeah.
If that partnership, they don't benefit, then
They're not likely
I'm
to
not, I
last.
don't,
They
they're
will
not
not
likely
last.
to last. Yes, they're not likely to last. So do they benefit from the same kind of outcome you do? Tick. If they don't know that they benefit, you need to make sure that they know the benefits. That's where we started from, our conversation from. So in practice, that's how I've built strong relationships. For example, we recently have done where we've written a proposal with a two partners, on about this particular proposal is about a $4 million a proposal project over a number of years in a specific country. Now, we were clear about the structure and what these two partners were bringing. We were clear what we were bringing. We were clear what they were bringing. And we knew in fact, while we were coming up with the budget, we made sure that the budget looked like what they would have in their own budget. In fact, we workshopped it with them, so that they know that it is valuable to them. At the same time, like I said, none of us are doing the same thing. None. Do they bring what we have? No. They bring what we don't have. Right. So each one of them brought what we don't have. And so that's how we've chosen partners. We don't
Complement
choose
each other.
them by yes, we don't choose them by comfort. We choose them by that complementarity that Dr. Aysen talked about, and alignment. That's how we've done that.
Thank you very much. Wonderful, wonderful response. I guess I will help you to say no pun intended when you say you don't choose them by comfort. Surely, surely. But there's another contribution I would like to recognize, and that is from, I think, at Teen Like Academy. I think I didn't get the name, but
Things
that's
are like
the
academy.
okay.
Yes.
Teens Alike Academy. I beg your pardon. Just confirming trust is a currency. In partnership, the mindset shift must go from who can help me to what value can I bring. Just re echoing what you said, and that's correct. So we must always bear that in mind so that we can be that partner that's also bringing, trying to fit the missing link for the other partner, just like we expect them to fill the missing link on our side. That way, we'll be complementing each other. Beautifully said. Thank you very much for that contribution.
Hmm.
So, what are the red flags people should watch out for before entering a partnership?
Hmm. This is red flags. I will speak like a Nigerian, a full Nigerian, because every we have to bring it home. Um, and I'll say that there are patterns that repeat themselves, and when you've seen enough of them, you yourself tell yourself the truth. You stop ignoring those patterns. For me, and as a Nigerian, one of the key red flags is vague conversations about money. Yes,
That's not
people tend to
specific.
run away. Yes, people tend to run away from the money conversation. And that's where the challenge, because let me say it differently, once you have brought value and the value is constant, then there should be nothing discomforting. I'm funny. There's nothing discomforting about
Please.
having clear, specific conversations about money. That's number one. Once you start having vague conversation about money, start having be worried. Be worried. It might not be red, but don't keep it as a green. No, no, no. Keep it as best, an
Amber.
amber flag. Yes. Don't keep it there because it's an amber that is tilting more to pink to red. Because if revenue sharing is, oh, don't worry, we'll figure it out later, there will be conflict.
To be
That's
specific
number.
upfront.
Yes. Be upfront. Be upfront. This is it, this is that, this is that. Now, not all
I think it's a network that's freezing the guest. We hope she comes back quickly. Okay. I hope she reconnects, but I think we are getting the gist of that. That we have to be specific in those terms, because when we are vague about sharing formula or even any other element in the partnership agreement, that is the source of problem later. You can be sure that the, the partnership will likely run into problem. But if there are specific, those things are specifically mentioned, and everybody has a clear meaning of what each clause of the partnership entails, then the area of friction will be minimized, if not totally eliminated. So that is actually the bit that relates to the red flag that we're talking about. And then part of the values that we said before that can amount to
it,
red flag
because ball you can drop the
is
ball.
this.
So a partnership like that can fail, you know. So when there's no role clarity, it can happen. Then another one is for me is when you have misaligned the levels of seriousness is not aligning. I don't know how to say it in a phrase,
Yes,
but
yeah,
misaligned seriousness, misaligned,
no goal
yeah.
congruence,
So one one
because
one
your
part of the
goal is not
partnership is being
aligning.
consistent there.
No goal congruence.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. No goal congress. I like that. No goal congress. Honestly, there's dissonance there. Then one partner is reactive, one partner is casual, one partner is structured, one partner is not on. No, red flags. We already start looking at. And then if you have this one, I have suffered from it. If you have reputation gaps, that's another red flag. This organization is not known for doing X. This one is known for doing Y. Once there is inconsistent track record, once there's, I've been in relationship business partnerships that the stakeholder relationship is very weak. Once you have that, in my experience in multi-partner education work, the biggest red flag can be this one. So you need to be clearly map how each partnership will function well, or that partnership will break once pressure comes. And pressure is part of business. Nobody should think of it as any other way. At the end of the day, clarity, to build clarity, is not luxury. It's really for you it's for you to protect your business, and that's why clarity is important.
Mm. It's just like the contribution and what you said earlier about trust being a currency. It, integrity is also something that that's akin to that, because that's where the reputational issue can come in. If maybe
Yeah.
partners, either in the individual or organizational, do not have a good integrity track record, it can backfire on the relationship, or even will chunt the relationship, and that can
Yes.
derail the progress. So that's
Mm.
part of the red flag that we actually talking about. So is it better to partner with someone in your industry or outside your industry?
I like this question. Um, I wouldn't say yes and I wouldn't say no. I would say they are both useful. Because I think in your industry, out of your industry, you can solve different problems. Because if you partner with someone in your industry like us, if we partner with people in education, it can help us to go deeper. And then if we partner with someone outside our own industry, it can help us to expand. So in my work, we've done both deliberately. So within education, we've worked with organizations that are like ours, and they have this much stronger delivery out, quality. Like their tools and their resources, their materials are much stronger than ours. And so we look at certain milestone proposals together, and we say, oh, we want to use these materials because their materials will deliver on these outcomes. So based on that, we will partner with them because inside our industry in education, they're able to give us those kinds of tools to deliver on what we want to do, to strengthen our work, to strengthen our quality. All we need to do in that case is we'll just align, oh, what is the approach that we want to use, what are the routines we want to take. That's us going deep with them because they're in our industry. Then outside our industry, which is education, we partner with people, people don't see, and because I work for a global non-profit, people don't see that people who fund you are also your partners. People who design the policy that will either enable or break you, they're your partners. In education, technology, and I guess in every tech sector anyway, technology is an industry that you can't even do without. So technology partnerships, and with those we're able to expand our work. So like when we wanted to build our AI systems, I mean these AI organizations, they are not core education. They do AI for almost any industry. So we went out and we took work with them, and they've helped us to design a really strong artificial intelligence that will help us really scale our work and expand our work. So that on from that level, that's an external partnership, that helps us
That's
to
not in your
strengthen what we
industry.
already do. Yeah. So for me, the real answer is not a yes or a no. I think the
I
key
think
question
it's
to
a
use.
good answer. It should be
Mhm.
both, really, because you
Yeah.
actually explained the usefulness of having to partner with people not in your industry, but that are essential
Yes.
to the work you do.
Yes.
I will even help you to
Exactly.
add one, perhaps out of
Hmm.
self self interest, the finance. which I think is key in
Yeah.
any industry because it
Hmm.
helps you to understand your numbers. Because at the end of the day, for you to put the proposal together and get
Exactly.
the, the numbers right, you need the finance guru
Exactly.
to be there. So
Yes.
definitely,
Yes.
I have to speak
Yes.
for my profession.
Yes. Yes.
So
I agree. There's no education without finance. None.
hardly any business really. We pride ourselves by saying the from cradle to grave of any business, you have the finance.
That's right. That's right.
That's true.
That's right.
So good. We already now see or understand strategic partnership. We've seen how to identify right partners. Now let's look at structuring partnership that pay, which is the other leg
Hmm.
of the topic. Let's talk money.
Hmm.
How do you
Hmm.
structure partnership that actually generate revenue? I guess I spoke
Wow.
too
I feel
early
like this question. Yeah, yeah. So,
for the
I think this
finance.
is your question. It's your question. I know you're going to help me, even when I might not maybe missing something. But let me say it from my example. You know how in Nigeria we say follow the money.
Yes.
So I always start from one place. I follow the money clearly from the start to the finish. If I cannot map where the money is going to come from, that's number one. If I cannot map how it will be collected, if I cannot map how it will be shared, then that partnership is not ready. So I now know that that kind of partnership, will it generate money? Will we be able to do it? So but then what I try to do, and I've done, and I've seen results from it, that this is how I approach it. First, I will define the product. What are we selling? Is it a product program? Is it a service? Or is it a bundle of the two? Is it a or three? Maybe is it a product? Okay. So when I define the product clearly, then I will now say, okay, who is going to pay? I will now start looking for. I will define the pathway to the revenue. That is, I'm now looking for where the money is going to come from. Because as I'm thinking of the program and I'm thinking of the service and thinking of package, I'm thinking of who is buying, who is the ultimate buyer, because there is the buyer and there is the doer. So who is the buyer? Who is the payer? Who is the doer? I will not ask all the questions. So if it's paying, if it's government that is paying, it's very clear that you'll be ready to wait, because governments, you with every government, most governments, you've got to have institutionalized institution money from yourself first to start something, and then give them a long time to pay. At least you know the duration between when you receive your money. So who is paying? Government. In our balance, you know when that money is going to come. So you have to plan very well. You have to design intentionally so that you know, okay, I know this with large scale revenue can come from the government. So this is what I will do. If in the is it is schools directly, those ones they do pay before the service, right? So you define who is paying. Is it government? Is it school? Is it funders? Is it parents in our own space? So we define that path revenue pathway as we are designing our bundles. So we know what bundle will go with the government, what bundle will go with the one who's paying before service, what bundle will go, we define, structurally what the bundle is versus who is paying to fit that revenue pathway. Then ultimately we'll say, okay, where is our biggest opportunity? Who is our biggest opportunity to make that money from? So for example, when we designed our social and emotional learning program, our product is very clear. We have training, we have materials, we have onboarding, we have coaching, we have all of that. Okay, we now said, okay, who needs this? Who are the people that need this? Schools all across the country, whether it's at public school level or at private school level. Okay, so we now structure it and we now create a layer. We say, okay, what are the various revenue pathways? There's revenue for training, there's revenue for materials, there's revenue for onboarding, there's revenue for long-term support, there's revenue. So we are tracking the revenue from every single place. So sometimes when we look at it, we say, okay, we categorize the buyers. We say, what can different people pay? Can we have a cluster model? And so right now we're operating on a cluster model that's actually better for people, because we're now encouraging the consumers to come in a cluster so that they can get the product cheaper, because then it's cheaper for them when they come together, and then it's cheaper for us in terms of our operational timelines. but it is still the same product. But the revenue structure had now, like we've cascaded in such a way that, there's shared things for cluster models, and then there's lower pricing for another kind of model, and then there's upfront commitment, for things like for people who want certain things. So that revenue model is actually shaped by the kind of partnership that we have. And so for us, the principle is just simple. Like, revenue must be intentionally designed. We start with designing it based on the bundles that we have. And that's how, we've structured, we've looked at the money. We're following the money and packaging the bundles based on the buyer, the payer, and the doer.
Yeah, you are very correct. I have a question from someone in your industry. Um, as one who who does rural education, how best is it to partner with government in that environment to get positive outcome? How best is it to encourage partner with rural teachers when money is not in it?
It's a good question because that's also in the line of what was one thing that is a wisdom that I found with governments is usually, because she's talking about the government. How do you partner with government at the rural grassroots level? Governments wants to see your evidence, right? But there's no way that governments will see your evidence if you have not shown them your results. That's one. But in second, so you have to show them your results in other ways where you have delivered. Governments like that. Now, if you doing rural work, have you done it anyway? Okay, if you have done, if this is the first time, okay, show it to us, demonstrate it to us. One thing that I would say is that you need to have figured out how to have raise your own funds to do work at the government and the rural level, because that is the only way you'll be able to do a program and then show them the results, and then they can partner with you. That is how it goes. You've got to show the program, you've got to show the results, and the only way to do those two is to have figured out revenue from another way, another part of your work, another part of your business. Bring that in, use it to show, demonstrate to the government. If you have not done it before anywhere else, use it to demonstrate to the government, and then continue to do what we call stakeholder engagement. Otherwise, it will be hard for them.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm sure the owner of that question is satisfied with that response. What are some practical models of revenue sharing partnership?
Okay. Okay. So I tried to share that a bit. There are a few models that we have seen, and I've also seen even observing those that are working. So, for example, we do a lot of co-delivery. Like I mentioned, that we had two organizations where we co-wrote a proposal that is about the $4 million proposal. It's not much, not a big project, the biggest project. It's not the biggest project we've done before, but we came together and we used a co-delivery model where the partnership inside the both partners deliver and share revenue based on our contributions. So in that multi-partner program that I was talking about, I said one partner brings the technical expertise, another one brings the implementation capacity, and then when we do that, we use the revenue. We revenue or the funding that we have will be allocated based on those roles. So it won't be equal, but it's to be fair. So practical models of revenue sharing is that, with that co-delivery model. Another one is the bundled product model that I was just talking about, where we can offer, we have two offers that are combined into one strong offer. So for example, we take, okay, in our own industry, we take teaching training, we take training, we take system, what's it called, systems building. We will take them, and then we'll now say, okay, we'll put it together as one product, and so that when schools buy, they are not just buying pieces, they are buying a system. And that increases the value, because if you just give them only training and you don't say, okay, we're going to do some culture strengthening, we're going to do if you just do one, sometimes it just doesn't come out as value to them. So you cannot plan a bundled product, in such a way. And I see it is being done in many other industries, not just I've seen it in banking, I've seen it in hospitality, I've seen it in many other industries, because I kind of wear many hats, so I'm also somewhat in hospitality in a way. So I've seen that kind of bundled product model. Then another one that we try is we do distribution and licensing. So we have products that we license out. So we own a product, and then we use distributorships. So we have, like, for example, there's one of our products that is only found in one of these nationwide bookstores, a bookstore that is across the 6 geopolitical zones in this country. So anybody who is in Nigeria in within a specific geopolitical zone can reach, don't have doesn't have to travel too far to reach that particular product. That's on distribution. Then we have licensing, where we are now even starting to license outside Nigeria, where we have so we have we have a tech tool that we are licensing, so people pay to use that particular tool. And then also we have the student materials that we also license and that people pay for. So we have those kinds of partnerships. And then the last one we do is we have a commission model. So if you refer us, if you say you come in and you say, oh, I have this network, for example, maybe you have a Southeast Educators Network, or you have you just have a large network, and with your network we can offer you a product at a certain discount, and then, or we give it to you and say, okay, we give you a goal, a commission based on a specific number that you deliver on. And so in consulting, it usually happens. Someone will bring a client, or you bring, and then you just define the percentages. But again, this one actually only works when you are clear about the upfront, about what the expectations are. But across any model, our one rule is what we use, that payment really must be tied to the value. Payment must be tied to the value.
Definitely, definitely, because that's what we encourage the payment anyway. Thank you very much for that wonderful response. Let me see if I can squeeze in, because time is fast spent. Squeeze in two more relevant questions
Okay.
so that we can benefit from your words of experience. Can partnership help small businesses scale faster than traditional growth methods? Because we talked about all the ingredients. Now let's look at the smaller business so that they will not think we are
Mhm.
speaking above them, and they can also benefit on this partnership alliance that we're talking about.
The direct answer to that is small, though, because I have experience with starting a small business. So yes, can partnerships help small businesses scale faster? Yes, yes, yes. But yes, only will that yes is only hinged on when they are well structured. So because when they are well structured, you can now that partnership can now help you. It can, how would I say it? It can compress your years of growth into months. Because you have a partner, instead of what you could have achieved in 2 years or 3 years, you might be achieving it in six
Synergy.
to 12 months. Yes,
Yes.
because of that and synergy that you have. So, for example, instead of you to build everywhere, you're just plugging into that partner's audience.
Exactly. When
You're
reinvent
plugging in, you don't
the wheel.
exactly that they've already have, you are plugging into their credibility too, and so you don't have to. So that's why partnerships are so important. That's why they say collaboration is the new competition, because really structured collaboration as we started, making it a strategic alliance as we started, is where it's at. You really really just have to, yes, partnerships can make you scale faster than you would have done on your own.
Fantastic. I'm glad that our small businesses will be pleased that they are they are also in the mix of what we are talking about. So, what system or processes should be in place to sustain partnership?
Ah, okay, I love this one because I've been talking about structure. Structure is my go-to. I learned the hard way. I suffered from not having structure. Oh gosh, I suffered. I wish we had time to tell the stories. I really, really do see this stuff. And when I did not know that having not a
Oh,
clear
well,
operating structure
we'll bring you another time, maybe mainly on that.
to tell the story, to when not just having systems. No, you have to have a clear operating structure. Who is responsible for what day to day? Please don't get it mixed up. In the beginning, for small businesses, me, I was chief operating officer, chief executive officer, chief sales officer, chief communication. I knew it was me.
Dinner,
So
the
I
tea
knew that
maker.
I had to exactly. So I had to compartmentalize my day. I spent the
Compartmentalize.
first two. Yes, because I had to learn to create that operating structure. I look at my 9 to 5. I say, okay, 9 to 10, I will do communications. 11 to 12, I will do operations. Kini to this, I will do. I had to create that structure when I didn't have people attached to those functions. So whether you are alone or whether you are a group or you have a team, you create the structure. At least you know that you are if you're alone, you know you're the one doing it alone. But create a structure for yourself, because that then gives you clear visibility on how things can work. Then for me, I always like this. I like communication rhythm. You have to know, okay, how many times do we meet? Have a communication rhythm weekly. I've seen it break down. In fact, I had to give appraisals recently based on this communication breakdown, because it was making things to stall. And
Yes.
so if you don't have a cadence, a weekly meeting cadence, either you do weekly or bi-weekly touch points. It must be structured in a way that even if people came to look at yourself to smile, and that's all you had to smile, then that's it. So get to that meeting, make it 15 minutes, 20 minutes, smile and leave. Let it be that there was nothing to talk about, because that's
Yes.
what it is there. So you must have those cadence. You must have that monthly reflection cycles where you will just come and say, you know what, what's working, what's failing, who needs what. The communication rhythm needs to be very, very clear. Then this one, the other one is you have to track your performance. You must know, what is, you must track it. What are our milestones? Are we meeting them? And Nigerians don't like documentations. We're not very strong on that. I've observed it, and it's not as if and this is a generalized statement I'm making, right? And it's not fair to do that. But please, I say it because I need it to trigger people. Document, document, document. Nobody gets hurt by documentation. In fact, you save yourself by documentation. Document what you people agree on. Document what the rules are. Document what the expectation is. It's very, very important. Very, very important. These are the things I would say.
Fantastic, fantastic. I just wish we could go on, but like I said, we may have to bring you back because there's still more from that. In fact, our fire chat, we could not take that today. Thank you very much. Wow. This has really been an incredible insight that you've given us today. Thank you so much, Rhoda,
Thank
for
you.
such great,
Thank you.
insightful section. To everyone who
Thank you.
has joined us today, remember this: your next breakthrough may not come from doing more, it may come from partnering smarter. That is with all the tips that we have given. So don't just build a business, build alliances that multiply your impact and your income. I would quickly like to appreciate our audience. I've noted some that joined us today. Maybe they are also friends of yours. I have Kano Nako. Sorry if I don't pronounce that name right. I beg your forgiveness. From Bangladesh. Then Teens Alike Academy. That's what I have for you. Not name. Thank you very much, Dr. Aseyin. Streaming from Abuja is one of our strong pillar in this show. Thank you very much for your contribution, Dr. Aseyin. Fagbola Temitope Adeni also joined us. Really indicate from where we appreciate you. Marcelina, I think signing as a Phenomena something. Marcelina, she also contributed. Thank you. Then Taiwo Ojo, also one of our regular audience from streaming from Abuja. Then at Black 09637, thank you for joining us. Bayo Banjo, thank you, one of our regulars as well. Mr. Adewale Olusegun, thank you. And if I've not been able to catch your name or I didn't mention your name, we still appreciate you nonetheless. Thank you very much for joining us. It's actually been a great time. Like I said, time flies when you are having fun. It's like we are having fun today. And definitely, definitely, we need to bring Rhoda back for more interesting topic. Thank you so much, Rhoda. my special thanks and appreciation goes to you for this inspiring session, and been very resourceful, and we cannot tap enough from you. Thank you for sharing great insights with us today. We appreciate you greatly. So, my charge to all of you, audience, is that if you've had a great session like I have today on this partnership that pay, strategic alliance that multiply revenue, if you find this session valuable, please don't forget to share it, tag someone who needs this message, and most importantly, take action. There are so many insights that have been given today. Please act on them for your business, for your personal growth. It will help you a great deal. Till next time when I come your way again, please keep growing, keep collaborating, and keep winning. As I usually say, remember to connect with us, subscribe, all that you already know. So, because of time, I need to quickly sign out. I look forward to seeing you at our next conversation, and I say goodbye and God bless. Thank you once again, Rhoda.